Namaste everyone. Hello, hi. How are you all? I'm Shruti Tiwari from Supergrads CAT. In the series of talking about just 5 months left, or not even 5 months now, few weeks left to prepare for CAT. Is it possible? Can we prepare for CAT? And we've been talking about this question, all right, coming to you and taking your questions live, all right, in the same series. I'll be talking about how to prepare for VARC section for CAT and OMETs. OMETs, other management entrance exams. If you've not seen sessions of Mr. Bhushan Bapat, who has talked about how to prepare for 5 months to crack CAT, and obviously the beautiful sessions taken in detail about how to prepare quant section of CAT and DILR section of CAT in 5 months. You should visit and watch those videos, which are going to give you detailed calendar of how to prepare for CAT. In the series of that session, I'm here to talk about how to prepare for VARC section of CAT. So let me take the first question which comes to mind, and that is it possible? Can I score 99 percentile in just 135 days? Because 15 days have already passed. It's 16th of July now. So is it possible? Is it like, can I do that? So now this is a very subjective kind of a question, and there cannot be one size fit all answer for this question. All right, but let's have a small discussion on that. Uh, yes, there have been testimonies with us. There have been students who have prepared, have started preparing in July, and they are right now in SPGen or IIMS. So, yes, it is possible, but it depends, and it would obviously, uh, differ from person to person. So, uh, let me tell you this that you know preparation, all right, is a very relative term, all right. For few people, preparation means material solving, number of hours, and number of questions I'm solving. So that, measurement they, take into consideration. For me, preparation is all about preparing your mindset first. Are you into that mindset of taking CAT? Changing your mindset would require that effort. All right. Number of hours could fluctuate depending on what's your style of learning. All right. Number of questions you solve per day might vary from concept to concept, because in difficult concepts, obviously, you would take a little bit of time in understanding things, and then more effort would be required. No more number of questions would be required to practice and make yourself comfortable solving those questions. In certain simple concepts, you wouldn't require that much of time. So that's relative term. All right. But mindset mindset has to be positive towards what you really want to achieve. All right. So that's something which I really want every one of you to think, that why at all you want to do an MBA and why at all are you preparing for CAT. So if your answer to that question is clear, that how is that going to change your life, or how is it going to add value to your professional life, then I am sure you will some way or the other wriggle out and make your way. All right. So that's what is most important part right now about preparation. There are people who have been preparing for CAT for 12 months, more than 12 months probably, and they might not be in a position to right now very confidently, glaringly say that yes, I'm prepared with my all my concepts and now I'm ready to take the mocks. But there are students who haven't got time to prepare for CAT till now, and now they are at the verge of, taking that decision whether I should get into that preparation or should I take that you know, leave, or I should have off and then I should prepare, or probably I should postpone it to the next year, all right, and take complete year preparation because CAT is a very tough exam to crack. So these are questions which are haunting right now, and here I am to answer that. Question mostly is popped up by professionals, working professionals, because they have dual things to manage. They have office hours of 8 to 9 hours, at times even exceeding to 10 hours, 11 hours. And then with that, they are supposed to prepare for CAT. So this question generally comes from working professionals. Mm, how would I be able to do that? Because I don't have that much of leisure, or I don't have that buffer time now left. So will I be able to do that? All right. So I'm sure that when you watch videos of Mr. Bhushan Bapat, he has taken this in detail. Mr. Mayur Mishra also has taken this in detail, that how working professionals and how students who do not have so much of buffer time can manage their quant and DILR preparation. So I'll be focusing more on the VARC section. How can you actually manage to prepare as working professional or as a person who is doing dual preparation? Maybe you are preparing for your college exams, you are in your second year, and you're preparing for your college exams or maybe engineering exams, and with that you're preparing for CAT. Or you're a working professional, you have your liabilities, you have your professional duties, and with that you're preparing for CAT. So yes, it is possible that you prepare and you start your preparation right now, and yet you can achieve 99 percentile, because that's not daydreaming. It's not something which is not achievable. All right, it is fairly achievable, and we will have discussion on that and how it is fairly achievable. If I talk about VRC section, um, in quant, you have certain sections which are really important because you need to develop that conceptual understanding. May it be algebra, may it be geometry, may it be arithmetic or number system. You need to have an understanding of the concept. All right. But when I talk about VARC, it is all about language and understanding of language. So there is no set syllabus as such. I cannot have chapters on VARC like you have in quant. All right, you have specific concepts defined in quant and DILR, but that is not the case in verbal ability. So let's have an understanding first about how the questions have been asked and what all things have been covered in these exams right now, for years now, like for past 3 4 years at least, so that you have an understanding that what exactly you need to prepare for when it comes to VRC section. All right. So this is for CAT. Now, if we look at it, mota mota, so it is basically reading comprehension, four passages, four questions, overall 16 questions. Grammar, there was not a single question. Vocabulary, not a single question. And this I'm not talking about just the past year, but for past 3 4 years, there have been no questions on grammar or vocabulary in CAT. And then VA is of 8 questions. This VA comprises of para jumble, para summary, para completion, and another variety of para jumble, that is odd one out. So these are 8 questions which were asked in past few years. Now, almost more than 60% of the paper or the VARC section comprises of 16 questions of reading comprehension out of 24 questions. So very clearly that they are giving highest weightage to testing you on your reading comprehension interpretational skills. All right. But if you even look at the VA section, the 8 questions which are asked here, they are also basically on paragraph comprehension. All right. So it is not a long passage, but it is a short passage followed by alternate summaries, a short passage from where a sentence has been eliminated, or a short paragraph wherein the sentence have been jumbled up. So basically, it is testing you on your reading comprehension skills, your interpretational skills. How much of it are you able to understand as far as language is concerned? All right. So if we look at the structure, largely it is heavy on reading skills. The length of the passage is around 500 words. A good number of questions in reading comprehension are based on critical reasoning and high order thinking. These questions comprise of strengthening and weakening of arguments, resolving the paradox, inference from a certain sentence or a certain example, and the most troubling of all, double and triple negative questions. If false is not consistent with the passage, except kind of questions wherein you don't even understand what exactly the question wants to do or what is it asking you to do. All right. So that's where the trouble lies. That good number of questions are based on critical reasoning, and this is exactly what needs to be prepared for. They are questioning you more on the lines of GRE GMAT. That means it is more based on reasoning rather than just direct questions on reading as such. Now, if I talk about the topics of the RCs, they could range from sociology, philosophy, culture, technology, political science, science and environment, history, politics, linguistics, literature, archaeology is their favorite topic, and there have been RCs on even book reviews. So that is more included in this literature part. All right. So the RC can range for a variety of, they can come from anywhere. A variety of genre is included. So there's a spectrum of topics from which they could ask you questions on. From psychology, they could ask you on cognitive behavioral therapy. They could talk about some kind of mental illness and treatments based on music, like music therapy. All right. They could talk about fashion and technology. Like last year, there was a passage on second-hand fashion September, something like that, past, in Europe. Then there were passages on Stoicism. There have been passages on existentialism and nihilism. Now, passages could range from anywhere, and that's what is the nightmare for most of the students, that how much of preparation is required. I mean, how much could we do? All right, that's exactly what is troubling most of the students, because there is no set syllabus that, okay, these are the chapters, you have to prepare from this, you have to solve these questions, and that what is required. That's what is required in the practice for VRC. There is no set syllabus. It could range from anywhere to anywhere. Passages could be from science and technology, quantum mechanics, AI, whatever. All right, and so that is making you a little panicky. All right, कि कितना ही prepare कर लें, कितना ही prior knowledge ले लें. ठीक है, so that's obviously not possible. And this is exactly what we will be discussing on. In VA, as I told you, it is paragraph based questions. Para summary, para completion, and para jumbles. So nothing as such which could be crammed up or practiced. All right. Grammar rules you can practice, vocabulary you can practice, and then you can obviously score well. But that is something which is not included in CAT. Let's have a look at the other exams as well. And then we'll have a comprehensive discussion about how to prepare for all these exams. Because once you're preparing for CAT, obviously you're not preparing just for CAT. You'll be registering yourself for XAT, for SNAP, for NMAT, for CMAT, even for some colleges. Okay. So at least we should cover up the major exams which are very popular and people generally are aspiring for. Then we'll have a discussion on that. So XAT 2024, this was the structure, and mostly it is similar. I mean, although I'm talking about this 2024 structure, but it could be other, if I talk about 2023, 2022, there were not much of a difference. All right, similar pattern. So, reading comprehension, 13 questions, three passages with three questions, and two passages with two questions. Overall, 13 questions out of 26 questions. Poem comprehension is a highlight of that exam. It is not just the passage comprehension, but they definitely, or regularly, I should say, regularly they give you poem comprehension, one small poem, and followed by one or two questions. Yes, I'll be taking all your queries. Just hang on for a second. Let's have a complete understanding of the structure, and then I'll take your questions. I'll be able to answer them properly. All right. Probably most of your queries will be getting answered with these discussions. All right. So don't worry. Nothing is very, very difficult. Everything is manageable. All right. Now, poem comprehension is an important part, integral part of XAT comprehension, XAT VARC section. Parajumbles, two questions. Grammar, three questions. Vocabulary generally is usage-based vocabulary and also could include figures of speech questions. And then critical reasoning, three questions, and para summary, one question. So you could see that it is four questions on reasoning and 15 questions on reading comprehension. The rest of the 4, 5 questions are there on, or 6, 7 questions are there on grammar, vocabulary, and paragrammaticals. If I talk about SNAP 2023, reading comprehension, there was a not single question, and this has been a trend in SNAP for past 3, 4 years. There has not been a single passage or reading comprehension question. All right. Earlier also, they used to give passages which were very easy to comprehend because they were more like unseen passages rather than comprehension. The reason behind is that there are only 15 क्वेश्चंस इन वीआरसी एंड स्नैप का स्ट्रक्चर बहुत सिंपल होता है 60 क्वेश्चन 60 मिनट्स सो यू डोंट रियली हैव टाइम फॉर पैसेज नो सॉल्विंग so so they don't ask any reading comprehension. They do ask a lot of grammar questions, vocabulary questions, and then there were two questions on figures of speech. So pretty simple structure you have, and you can do questions within seconds. So VRC happens to be your time saver and your energy saver. All right, if you can save on your time and energy in VRC, and obviously invest that time and energy in quant section or DILR section, whichever you feel is a little lengthier. Uh, yes, exactly. How many hours to spend on VRC? So I started my discussion with this, that how many hours roughly are you supposed to spend? So that's a very relative question, as I told you. All right, there's no one specific answer, one medicine which could be given to everyone. All right. So it depends on what is your level of engagement with language, what is your level of comprehension. Have you been an avid reader earlier, or you really need to start afresh right now? Have you been only reading your textbooks in your college and your high school, or have you been into language learning? So that depends from person to person. All right. So there is no fixed number of hours as such that these many hours you have to fix. But yes, fixed time is important. Time slot is important. And I would certainly recommend that 40 minutes of reading every day is a must. All right. So 40 minutes of reading every day is going to bring drastic change in your preparation, not just in VARC and VRC scores, but even it would be helpful in DILR, understanding of DI sets, logical reasoning puzzles. It is going to be very, very helpful when you will be doing your XAT exam. That means essay writing, reading comprehension, and later on, even after CAT in WAT, that is writing assessment test. So reading is not going to go waste anyways. So every day 40 minutes of reading must go. Then after that, how many mocks you take, how much of time you need to give to RCs and other VA questions, that's again relative. So I'll be answering that in just a moment. Okay. Nice that you have started asking me questions. Do specifically ask questions so that I'll be able to answer them. But yes, if I'm in a flow and I'm not able to answer your question immediately, don't feel bad about it. You will, in the run of the or flow of the passage, I'm sorry, flow of the session, you are going to get your answers. All right. So this was roughly the structure of the important exams which you are aspiring for, CAT, XAT, and SNAP. Now, what is the conclusion that could be drawn from this data which I have shared with you? The most important and the fundamental skill is reading. All right. The more avid reader you are, the better is your score in VRC section. The more you read or the more familiar you are with the variety of topics to read, the better is your confidence while taking the questions. All right. So, because obviously in CAT and in XAT, it is mostly more than 60% of the entire VRC section. So that has a lot of weightage, and they are actually testing you on your reading, your interpretation. All right. Next is question solving, and this involves grammar, this involves parajumble, this involves para summary, para completion, and questions of RC. So largely question solving approach. This is really important. And this is exactly why you need someone to guide you so that people who have been taking these exams for years and people who've been training students for years know exactly what tricks and our tips are to be applied so that you save on your time and improve on your accuracy, because there are certain questions which might eat away your time, or there are certain passages which are time killers. So you don't, if you don't recognize them, you will end up losing a lot of time and marks, and that's where you need that understanding or hand holding. Next is vocabulary. uh, Now, why is it important to prepare for vocabulary? Because there has not been a single question of vocabulary in CAT. All right, and there have been two, three questions in XAT. So why am I asking you to prepare for vocabulary? For a simple reason that in reading comprehension, to comprehend it properly, you need to have at least a basic level of vocabulary intact. All right. I'm not asking you to prepare for, GRE vocabulary word list. I'm not asking you to cram I'm not asking you to cram a lot of words or, lot of high sounding words. That's not what my intention is. But my expectation from you is that you should be preparing on vocabulary at least, which is used in everyday written communication. As a manager as well, or when you'll be actually entering into your professional profile, there also every day, day in, day out, you would need to go for communicating, writing emails, presenting project reports, presenting a PowerPoint presentation in front of the clients, and obviously a lot of other, reports which you are supposed to make, read, and present. So if you're not actually good at written communication, you do not have that developed vocabulary, you will end up cutting a sorry figure, which obviously a good branded B school or a top-notch B school wouldn't expect you to do. All right. And that's the reason why I'm asking you to prepare a little platform on of vocabulary. Every day, a little bit of vocab discussion would, be very, very nice. All right. Little interaction on vocabulary, and you are up and going. All right. Not going for obsolete words, but everyday usage of, these words in written communication. For example, if you read from good sources, you're actually not just preparing for reading comprehension, you're also improving your vocabulary day by day. Because most of these words will be often repeated, and you will become more and more familiar with these words. All right. So that is going to add value to your communication as well as like verbal communication as well as written communication. All right. So it is really important that you work on your vocab building. Next is critical reasoning. As you've seen that in XAT also, there are direct questions on critical reasoning. And if I talk about CAT, most of the reading comprehension passage questions, out of 4 questions, you would find at least 1 or 2 questions which are strengthening the author's argument, weakening the author's argument, or resolving the paradox indicated in the passage, or how would you weaken the author's inference or conclusion. All right, so these are all questions which need a lot of practice and hand holding. This is exactly where you need to practice, because this is applying logic to the language. All right, so let me clearly give it to you that most of your time will go in enhancing your reading skills. Then you would obviously need a little time for a little bit of time, some time at least, to be invested in understanding how to solve questions. That means the correct approach to solve questions, enhancing a little bit of vocabulary every day. And this will go on till your CAT and XAT exams are going on. And then obviously critical reasoning, that means how should I apply logic to the language which is used in the passage or solving the questions. So this is high order thinking or critical reasoning. That is something which is will require a lot of practice. So as I told you that a detailed calendar has been given by Mr. Bhushan Bapat, very nicely explained in detail about how will you go about from for preparation of CAT from July till November. All right. So that is in detail covering all quantitative ability, that is QA, DILR, as well as VARC. So the detailed structure is in that video. I would recommend you to go to that video and watch it and understand it clearly. What I am actually dealing with is the VARC section. And in that also, I have, there is no watertight compartments or categorization as such. This is only to make you understand how to go about it. All right. So in VARC, as I told you, VARC preparation is a little different from quantitative ability or mathematics. In mathematics, you have a set syllabus, you have a defined concepts, and you have chapters which you need to cover up. But that is not the case in VRC section or the language comprehension section. All right. It depends on how much time you would require for each, genre or the variety of question. But what I have done, or what we have done in this preparation plan, is that we have taken those parts early or earliest, which would take a little more time in preparation. All right. For example, you can start with philosophy and psychology, in the sense that getting familiar to philosophy and psychology would take a little bit of effort and time, which you cannot afford to do in October or September. All right. So that's exactly why we have kept the preparation of RC psychology philosophy over here. Mostly philosophy and psychology passages are asked in CAT, and we are not expecting you to have detailed or in-depth prior knowledge about all the philosophies or all the therapies of psychology, but a fair amount of familiarity would definitely make you prepare very well. It will enhance your confidence while you'll be reading and solving the questions. Okay, so that's something which will add value to your preparation. So nothing more than solving or reading a few passages, all right, here and there every day. Maybe one or two passages every day, or maybe I would say 4 to 5 passages in a week if you could spread over. All right, and making yourself comfortable with philosophy and psychology. That's what is required here. All right, making you acquainted with and making you comfortable with topics like stoicism. Like अगर अगर मैं stoicism बोलती हूँ या stoicism पे मार्कस अरुलियस का कोई पैसेज आता है, now the first thing which rings bell in your brain is कि ओ ये कौन बंदा है और ये क्या stoicism मतलब क्या. ठीक है, so that makes you a little you know have that aversion towards philosophy कि मुझे समझ में नहीं आएगा. But let me tell you कि the moment you try and make effort to make yourself familiar with these concepts, you would realize that इतना बुरा भी नहीं है. The best part is that we all are Indians. All right. So दुनिया को philosophy हमने दी है, भारत ने दी है. So we are like grandfathers of philosophy. So अगर कोई stoicism पे बात करता है, existentialism पे बात करता है, nihilism पे बात करता है, ठीक है, एपिक्यूरियनिज्म पे बात करता है, तो ये सारे कॉन्सेप्ट्स इंडिया से ही निकले हैं. स्टोइसिज्म इज वैराग्य. वैराग्य लेते हैं, मोक्ष की प्राप्ति के लिए जंगल निकल जाते हैं परिवार को छोड़कर, जैसे बुद्ध ने किया था. दैट इज स्टोइसिज्म, leaving all the worldly pleasures and living a very stoic life, away from all the pleasures, restricting yourself, and working towards liberation. So not a big deal. बस उसका एक हवा बना के रखा हुआ है. जितने इजम्स हैं वो सब करने पड़ेंगे. हर एक इज्म के ऊपर एक एक सेशन हो रहा है. You don't have to be worried about that. All right. You just have to solve passages based on philosophy and read good articles from reliable resources, so that you become more comfortable and easygoing with these concepts. Let me tell you, philosophy or psychology CAT में क्यों पूछते हैं? Because even when you will be a management trainee, all right, when you will be doing your MBA, you will be dealing with these philosophy, theories of philosophy and psychology, because ultimately you're going to manage human beings, human behavior. All right. If you talk about customer behavior, if you talk about market trends, if you talk about the unpredictability of the market, all right, what is this all about? This is all about how people behave, and hence it will be really helpful for you in the long run. So don't have that aversion towards these concepts. All right. Although that this will take a little time and effort, and it is easier said than done. All right, but I'm sure that this is going to add value to your preparation. This is something which is constant all over And this is exactly what I was talking about, that 40 minutes of leisure reading, you have to specify a time. You have to fix a time that, okay, it is early morning when my mind is really fresh. I need to devote 40 minutes sitting over a place and reading. Now, the question which I'm getting frequently is that I read a passage and then I forget, what I have read in the first three paragraphs the moment I reach the fourth and fifth paragraph. All right. Or I have read the passage, I've understood the passage, but when I solve the questions, I need to refer back and reread it so that I get the answer. That is obviously very wrong strategy because it is going to double your time taken, isn't it? And obviously it is not going to give you confidence. Now, if you really want to develop that stamina for reading, this is what is going to add stamina. All right. Every day, if you sit and focus for 40 minutes reading one or two articles, it is going to enhance your focus. It will not happen instantly. It will not happen within a week. It will not happen by joining any coaching classes. It will happen only with persistence. Every day, same time, you have to fix that time, sit for 40 minutes, 45 minutes, take a few articles and just read them, enjoy them. I'm not asking you to solve any question. I'm not asking you to solve reading comprehension passages in this time. No, that is not going to add value. That is just question solving approach. More important than that is making that strong foundation for reading, enjoying what you're reading, asking question to yourself. What's the point this author is making? What is the message he is delivering to me as a reader? Enjoy and wonder the language and the play of words which the authors are doing. Like these, they generally use that journalistic style, isn't it? So they'll play with word, they'll have that liberty of using language, they'll overrule the grammar structures of sentences. So you should appreciate that, and that's where you'll be able to absorb a lot of language automatically, and that takes a little time. All right, that takes a little time. If you have not been reading at all, you have been only focused on textbooks, cramming the answer, vomiting out in the exam, getting good marks, then probably VRC is going to be a nightmare. Because no matter how hard you are trying, no matter how many passages you are solving, it is not actually solving your problem. Problem solution is in reading and enhancing your comfort with reading, having patience while reading. You are not in a hurry to get into that conclusion कि okay मैं फटाफट पढूं बिल्कुल जल्दी जल्दी पढ़ना है मुझे conclusion निकालना no, no hurried reading. Read it in leisure time and fix that time so that you are able to absorb exactly what the message is. And I am telling you that this is going to really add value to your score, because with every day you will be able to enjoy language, you will be able to understand more in depth what the passage is about or what the author is want or is trying to tell you. And when you read it from variety of genre, then you will appreciate it more, because language would differ from one theme to another. All right, that's the reason why even in see this top rankers, we have actually devised this kind of timetable, that we are focusing on a particular genre or theme in simple language of every RC, because it is going to make you very familiar with the kind of language, the kind of jargons which are used, the kind of idiomatic expressions, structure of the passage, how the point is, delivered by the authors who are dealing with philosophy and psychology. Obviously, it would be different from people who write about politics and history. And obviously, articles on economics will have a different kind of a structure. They'll have more database structure, isn't it? So that would differ from themes or one theme to another. That's the reason why even in leisure reading, you should appreciate reading from variety of themes. But you should be very specific about the source which you are dealing with, okay, or from where you are taking the articles to be read. And that's what I'll be sharing with you in a moment. August, you can take the theme of economics and science. September, you can go ahead with history and politics. And obviously, you can mix and merge also here. There is no watertight compartment here. Ki nahi, September is only for this because there is no, as such, there is no concept or there is no um, chapters which you need to or syllabus which you need to cover. All right, this we have done only for the sake of comfort or familiarity. You can do it either ways. You can start with history and politics here, or you can end up making philosophy and history, philosophy and psychology sandwich between economics and history. It's completely your choice. All right, so there is nothing like कि ऐसे chapters करने हमें. All right. Now, if I talk about VA, you can start with para summary. Now, in July, why am I asking you to do para summary? For two reasons. One is very obvious that it is kind of small RCs only. Small paragraph followed by four alternative summaries. So it is going to be a practice of one variety of VA plus it is going to add value to your comprehension because reading a lengthy RC initially would be a little tiring job. But if you start with para summary, one paragraph and you have to identify its summary, it is going to give you practice for reading passages as well. All right. So, doing like starting your preparation with para summary is obviously good. Then August, I've kept para completion. September with para jumble and odd one out. But again, as I told you, that there are no watertight compartments as such. You can do a mix and merge of these also. You can start with para summary and para completion. You can take four questions of this, four of this, two of this. All right, and you can do that. But understanding the concept and practicing are these are two different things. Understanding of the concept, you can take one concept at a time. How to approach para summary would obviously different from how to approach para jumble. The approach would be obviously different. Once you get the approach clear, all right, then you can mix and match and solve questions according to your comfort. In fact, if you are a working professional and you are really struggling with time, I would suggest that you can take few questions of each variety. And once your approach is clear, once you understand how to solve these questions, then practicing these questions, you can take them as popcorns. As and when you get time, you can do it. Okay. Now coming to vocab development. This is Norman Lewis ki word power made easy. All right. And because we trust this book, and it's not just we, but people across the globe who are aspiring for any competitive exam, or they would obviously keep this book handy. All right. In fact, what we have done is we have moved a step ahead and we have made a series of videos on word power made easy. Sana ma'am is taking a few sessions. A few sessions have been taken by Rita ma'am, and a couple of sessions I have also taken in that. So there's a compilation of all the chapters of Word Power Made Easy, a wonderful series of videos which you can save in your mobile as a playlist. And as and when you get time, you can just listen to that video. Even you can listen to that video at 1.5 speed or 1.75 speed. All right, because if you really need to just revise it quickly. All right, it is going to help you. How? you may not carry a book anywhere or everywhere you are going, but you will always and always have your mobile with you. You cannot move without your mobile nowadays. So mobile is really a good tool to enhance your vocabulary, because it will not allow you to give any excuse for not working on your vocabulary or not working on your parajumble. You can always save these videos as playlist and you can revise anytime. All right. So this is going to enhance your vocabulary about vocabulary of words which are used in everyday communication, words which are not obsolete but which you love to use while you are talking with people, while you are interacting with your seniors, or maybe even in your written language. All right. And obviously this approach of understanding words is going to add value to your uh, comprehension, that is reading comprehension, because if you're already you have good power of vocabulary, then your understanding automatically gets enhanced and your confidence also gets enhanced. So what we have done is, for July and August, we have kept it for Word Par Made Easy. All right. And the chapters have been uh, given on YouTube, all right, as videos. Another book which is really nice, which is going to be an advanced level of vocabulary development, is Words of Power. Another very nice book, 6 Weeks to Words of Power. All right. Again, it is being used extensively by people across the globe. It is more of corporate language which is being used. Another book which I would recommend, and if you could get access to, is Everyday English. All right. And that I would obviously want you to download the advanced level of everyday English. This is all again going to give you a lot of exercises, okay, and very fun and interesting exercises, which are the exercises are giving are designed in such a way that they give you a warm up of working on the vocabulary. It's not just cramming the words, but it's also understanding the words and applying that understanding of words immediately with those exercises. All right. In fact, our own RSMs in top rankers, we have designed with the same kind of approach, that it's not just word list that you cram the words and that's it. That's not the approach. We have words with their meaning, their usage, examples, and it is followed by some really interesting vocabulary exercises wherein you can apply that learning or understanding of words immediately. And with frequency of repetition and practice, those words obviously get absorbed in your everyday usage. All right. So, this is how I would suggest you to start practicing and start, step by step your preparation. Something which is permanent is this, and something which is really, really important is this part. Till September, you should have made yourself comfortable with all the patterns of questions, all the variety of options and questions which are asked, the the correct approach of solving those questions. So this should have happened till September. After that, in October and November, probably I would suggest this is high time that you should be practicing previous year questions of CAT and XAT. All right, because this is the level of difficulty obviously has to be up to the mark. And the more you solve PYQs, the better you will become acquainted with and confident that, okay, I can do these many number of questions. And obviously, that would come with mocks as well. Okay, so mocks, you can start from here only. but the frequency of mocks would obviously get enhanced. Like here, you can start with two mocks, one mock per week, and then you can add on to four mocks, and later on you can take two mocks per week, and that would add on. Okay, so these mocks and PYQs are going to add value to your preparation in the sense that they are diagnostic in their approach. In the sense, you'll be able to assess yourself कि तुम्हारी कितनी अंडरस्टैंडिंग आई है और तुम कितना पानी में हो, ठीक है, तुम कितना सीख पाए हो अभी तक. तो that's where you need to focus on and repetitively solve previous year questions and take mocks. Something which will remain constant till November is your 40 minutes of leisure reading. In fact, if I share my experience, mm, I generally suggest this to my students and I do that myself. Before taking a mock, before writing a mock, all right, because you know that mock is going to start with VRC section, 40 minutes VRC section. Before just starting the mock, if just before that, for 15, 20 minutes or 30 minutes, you take one article from newspaper or maybe from any of these sources, which I'll be telling you just now. You take one article and just go through that article. Do not force yourself for comprehension. Do not push yourself for remembering anything or retaining any information. Just enjoy reading it, all right, and try and summarize it in your brain that okay, these are the larger points which the author is making. And after that, when you start taking your mock, whether you start with parajumble, whether you start your VRC section with parasummary, or whether you start your VRC section with directly reading comprehension, your comprehension is going to be really advanced. You will score really fairly well because your accuracy will be enhanced. You have already set up a set focus, all right, of reading. Your mind is not getting diverted, it is not getting distracted. That peace of mind, that stability of mind is going to really add value to your overall score. Try it once and then you will understand what I'm saying. All right. So this is exactly what I would suggest. In fact, we all would suggest. With on different videos, we have suggested the same calendar for you. All right, and this is what VRC is all about. So starting from July, you should regularly focus on your reading comprehension, enhancing your vocabulary power, and you should understand the approach of solving these variety of questions. But there is no set structure as such in language part because obviously there is no syllabus as such. All right. Theme will help you understand the language and the structure of the passage, which will vary from one theme to another. All right, and that's exactly why we have kept it like this. Otherwise, it is all about solving reading comprehension questions and reading. Okay, developing your muscle for reading. If you have any question regarding this, I'm here to answer that. Okay, so inference-based questions are really difficult to handle, and so are critical reasoning-based questions. And as I told you, okay, that these questions require in-depth understanding of the passage. All right, it's not just superficial reading. In most of in most of these students, the problem is that they push themselves towards speed reading. They want to finish off that passage in 7 minutes, in 5 minutes. because they want to do the entire section in 40 minutes. They want to solve all 24 questions in 40 minutes. So they are doing all kind of mathematical calculations, that I should give 12 minutes to VA and 28 minutes to RCs. So 7 minutes per RC I have, and that means that in 3 minutes I should have read the passage. 4 minutes I would need to solve all the four questions. See, mathematical calculations are good, estimation of time is good, but that is not how language works. Okay, you cannot have one level of questions across the section. There will be some questions which will be time wasters. There will be some questions which are going to give you real profitable good marks. Now, if you are dividing it the time uniformly, obviously you are going to lose on the profitable questions, and you are going to end up wasting a lot of time in dealing with the tough questions. So, inferential questions are of both variety. There are inferential questions which will be giving you reference to certain paragraphs, to certain example, that what is the inference drawn from that. That is a little easier, all right, rather than taking out inference from the entire passage. But in both the question, variety, inference has to be drawn, and hence understanding of the passage is required. So unless you have developed this muscle for reading, no matter how speed reading you do, how skimming and scanning you practice, your accuracy is not going to be intact. In fact, people who rely on speed reading, people who rely on skimming and scanning, do not really have good accuracy in CAT and XAT. If I talk about OMATs, CMAT हुआ, NMAT हुआ, there you can actually score really good, because वहाँ पर passage level of difficulty of the passage is not that high. But here, questions ask you to get into the reasoning part. And you cannot reason out something without understanding. That interpretation has to be developed. And hence, that would require you to develop muscles for reading, understanding, have patience. You should not be up and going, pumping yourself, and full of anxiety, panic, and you are asking yourself to solve and reading comprehension. Not happen. I'll give you a just small instance. Think about it, that if it had been a really bad day in office, okay, you had some kind of heated argument, and you return and take shower and then sit to solve a maybe mock, or maybe you've started solving a reading comprehension. Now, obviously, you did not have any snack. Obviously, you are full of that anger and hangover of those heated, debates which you had in the office. Your mind is full of distractions. Your stomach is empty, and you're expecting your mind to focus on something which is really not your cup of tea, which is something which is not important for you. One author talking about something which is not even relevant to you in your life. Maybe he's talking about climate change. Maybe he's talking about some fashion. Maybe he's talking about some kind of psychological therapy and all that stuff, in which you're not interested in. Will your mind focus? Will you be able to solve questions? Will your accuracy be intact? Obviously, no. So that's exactly what I want to bring home. That passage solving or language comprehension is something very different from other subjects. All right, it is relatable, and it is relative to situations as well. And hence, fixing that one particular time, all right, of 40 minutes of leisure reading, wherein you are not, you don't have to care about how to solve questions, but you really care about what's the point the author is making. That is going to add value. Okay. Yes, Elena, bilkul. Critical reasoning concept is very important. Theory is a wrong word to be used. The concept of critical reasoning is really, really important. Weakening the argument, strengthening the argument, resolving the paradox. In fact, you could have even boldface arguments. What is the relevance of this sentence in the passage? You have a lot of questions in CAT wherein they'll give you that in inverted quotes. What is the relevance of this statement as per the passage or the author's argument? Or which of the following parallel situations, is a reflection of author's argument? So they are giving you parallel situations and that you have to relate to the passage. So unless your author's argument is very clear, will you be able to really eliminate the options and come to the right answer? I am afraid no. Okay, so no amount of speed reading and forcing yourself into this and that would actually add value to your accuracy. That will happen only when you have learned over a period of time how to control your mind, how to have patience and focus on what you're reading. Your purpose is to get good score. And for that, you really need to develop this. Okay. So the crux of what I was talking was read, read, and read, but read from, because cat के passages ऐਵੇਂ ही कहीं से भी नहीं आते हैं. ठीक है? So and if I give you a glimpse of past 18, 20 years, there have been hardly once or twice that any passage from Indian ethos or background has been asked. Most of the passages are global in their approach. They are generally from Europe, European economy, European culture, history, Greek mythologies, philosophy from Greece, and mm, then a literature also, obviously, European literature, American literature. All right, so most of the passages are, you know, they do not have background of India, and that would also be an added level of difficulty. Because had the passage been from India, like Indian politics, Indian history, Indian mythology, Indian philosophy, psychology, or Indian, people and ethos, or Indian geography or geographical locations, then probably you would have made some sense out of it because you have that familiarity of the words which are used. But when it comes to European, when it comes to the geopolitical, scenarios, what is happening in America, what is happening between Israel and Iran and Iraq, what is happening between Israel and Palestine. Okay, so that's where you get a little messy because you do not have the context very clear. All right, you don't have that understanding of Afghanistan, Gaza, and Israel and Palestine and all these wars happening. So that's where you need to make yourself familiar. All right. So the most, like, if I talk about just cat, the most authentic one is like you can pick up some columns, uh, weekend columns from The Guardian. This is an English daily in Britain. So this is going to give you that European, the articles which are from European background. All right. The language which they generally use in day-to-day, interaction. Then you have the New York Times. So this is an English daily from the New York, obviously. So that is USA. Then third is Times Magazine. Then you have the Smithsonian. You have Aeon. You can start with Aeon ideas and then make a promotion towards Aeon essays. You can listen to TED Talks. And if I talk about science and technology, then you can take help of National Geographic or BBC. All right. So obviously you'll have a lot of columns and editorials from these newspapers. And if nothing is available right now, you can get started with the Indian Express. Take a few editorials, long articles, maybe weekend columns, which are on variety of topics from sociology or society and culture to politics to probably one or two on business and economics. All right, and you can get started. And with passage, you can get hold of these sources and you can start your reading. These Aeon essays are lengthy passages and they would take at least 40 minutes per article to get completed. All right, so this is wonderfully designed. They really want you to sit and complete one article. And you should actually complete one article in one sitting. All right, and you can see for yourself how your comprehension gets enhanced, how it gets added up. Okay, when it comes to November, you only have these three things to be done. So whatever reading you are supposed to do, whatever vocabulary enhancement you are supposed to do, that you have to do within like this time span from today till end of October. All right, that's the only time you have. Later on, the only thing you need to actually do, and which is something which is imperative, is take mocks, solve previous year papers, analyze your mistakes, analyze your approach of solving the questions, do revision of those concepts which you're really lagging behind or which you really feel that you need that hand holding. So revise that with videos, previous lectures, and solve more questions and again take mock. So this is what is going to be the routine of November every week. All right. So whatever preparation you need to do is to be done before October ends. All right. So we are starting with this new batch, which you can join in, and we will be covering all the required, you know, mm, all the required approaches and concepts which are important for preparation of VARC. So my suggestion is that do join in. If you want to join online, you're most welcome because if you're a working professional, obviously you do not have time to spare for offline classes. So you can join these classes early morning or late night classes and make maximum use of our understanding and concept building exercises. All right. So if you have any doubts, I'm ready to answer your queries. Okay, you can avoid yes, you can avoid reading and rereading by simply what I've told you, having stable mindset. All right, in VRC, you tend to obviously because that's the passage is not relevant, so it is from anywhere. It is talking about something which is not making much sense to you. So obviously, you tend to forget. Our brain registers only things which are relevant for us. So obviously the brain forgets. So you can avoid doing that by reading it with patience, first of all. Second, developing that patience while reading over the time. Okay, that would not come immediately. All right. So answering questions when you are supposed to go, like when you are asked to go back again and again, two fours. Okay, that's a waste of time. And you can actually stop doing that by developing this kind of practice that by one reading, you should be able to come up with the point made by the author or the argument, main argument which is presented by the author. So then you will be able to solve at least 2 to 3 questions without actually revisiting the passage. But that doesn't come immediately. It will not happen overnight or even over a fortnight. It's a long process. It takes little time. And the same thing applies to even parajumbles. Parajumbles, you're not very clear about the sequence which you're making because they tend to be theta questions. No options are available to take reference from. All right. And hence, you're always confused that whatever sequence you have made, whether it will be correct or no. So that accuracy or that, confidence of making that sequence in the correct order comes only with practice and only with reading the right kind of things, all right, or right kind of articles from correct sources, authentic sources. Then your understanding of the language and the structure of the paragraph will be clear to you. Then flow of idea will not go haywire. Then you'll not be only dependent on the superficial verbal clues, making pairs and just doing that. All right, you'll be able to understand the context and you'll be able to solve it very quickly. Okay. So I'm really happy that it is adding value to your preparation. Okay, so you can ask more questions on Telegram group. You can ask more questions later on, and I'll be really happy to answer them later on as well. Okay, whatever is coming to your mind, you can keep dropping your doubts and queries. Let me, revise whatever we have done till now, and then we'll wind up the session. The first thing is language is obviously different from other subjects, and hence there is no watertight compartments or chapters to be covered, no syllabus as such. Only that you have to develop over a period of time your comfort with different themes of reading comprehension that are generally asked in CAT. And that will happen when you read from authentic sources and when you fix a specific time for reading every day. Okay, whatever it is, all right, whatever happens in life, but that fixed time has to be there for your reading. Okay, your friends are going out for some dinner, or maybe your maybe your family is insisting on something, you should straight away say no, this fixed time I have to spend on reading. All right, and make it a point that it is most of the times, I mean, most of the days, it is that fixed time which is meant for only reading. Rely more on solving PYPs, that is previous year papers, and analyzing your mocks. Do not have aversion towards mocks. There is absolutely no sense in thinking that first I should complete the syllabus and then I should start with the mocks. As I told you, mocks are diagnostic. They will give you the real picture of your preparation, where you really stand right now. and it will prompt you to prepare in a better way. Okay. So, last point, that 135 days, can you really score 99 percentile? The answer is yes. Depending on your preparation level, you can actually do that, because it's not key, you really need to solve all 24 questions correctly. Even if you're able to solve at least 12 to 14 questions correctly in VRC section, you are going to score really good. All right. And your net score is going to give you 99 percentile. So that's not a very big dream or daydreaming kind of. You can achieve that, but your preparation should be in the right direction. All right. You shouldn't be thinking about number of hours for that preparation. You should be thinking about right approach and right sources. Okay. And then you'll be able to score really well. So thank you so much for your time. I hope this session adds value to your VRC preparation. And we are definitely looking forward to coming up with more sessions for reading comprehension, RCs on philosophy and psychology. Our series of video sessions is already on the YouTube, and we'll be coming up with more such interesting sessions for you. So do subscribe and hit the like button so that you get the notification beforehand. So, all the best for your preparation. Bye. Namaste.